Oh yeah, here. Under data, summarize with pivot table. So that's what I want to do. So summarize with pivot table. Okay, do you see that? So I'm using, you know, Mac version of Excel. So that's why it's a little bit confusing. If you're using PC, I think pivot table is under insert, I believe. If I'm using Google Sheet, it might be also different. So summarize with pivot table. And I already selected the data, clean the data, that's a worksheet name, and A1, you see the $ A1, it's fixing the range, and K55, that's the data range. I'm gonna go there, and it automatically creates worksheet called sheet 3, and then later I'm gonna change the name, and I wanna see the relationship between happy family and life satisfaction, right? So happy family to, I'm gonna drag it, happy family, I'm gonna select and drag it to rows, right? And then I'm gonna also see life satisfaction. I'm gonna select and drag it to values, right? So it created a table for me that summarizes that. And then I'm going to go to insert. I'm going to visualize it using graph or chart. Here's a chart. And let me use a bar chart and see what happens. So you visualize it and it's much easier to see what's happening, and double click on it. You can work with the design, and you can use various format like that if it is easier for you or clearer for you, you can use that. Okay, so I see that 5 have their life satisfaction, and the scales are a bit different here. It says it's 9, 14, 14, 81, and 91, right? So if you go to pivot table, under sigma values, you see there's a sum of life satisfaction. And I think we should change that. Let's change that to average rather than sum of count, average. Now we see this. So happy family versus life satisfaction. So we have now created a chart called happy family versus life satisfaction. Wow, what happened here? We have found something unexpected, right? What is it? Number one, I don't understand. So it says happy family, right? So unhappy family, it has unhappy family. However, the life satisfaction is 4.5. Or we can now add maybe we can add numbers like that. And we can also change colors. If you want, you can do that. So we see that surprisingly, those who answered number one, happy, actually very unhappy family, and the satisfaction is quite high. I think this might be an outlier. We need to do some investigation. or he or she did not answer very honestly. But generally, except for number one, if you just delete this, except for number one, you can say that your hypothesis is quite correct. Those who have high satisfaction or happy family, those who tend to have high, high life satisfaction, 4.13. And the next one is 3.6. So there's a significant difference between these two questions. But we can say 3 and 2, not much difference, right? So although they have unhappy family or neutral family, their life satisfaction is not that different, and their life satisfaction is not too bad. 3.5 is not too bad, right? It's a neutral, between neutral and a happy or satisfied family. So it's not too much difference. That's what we see in this question. So I'm going to name this one as happy family versus life satisfaction. Sometimes, you don't have enough space, then you have to just delete space, right? So in that way you can answer, or you can change the type of the chart, like line graph. So you can also change to line graph if that's something that you desire. I think column is better one in my opinion, but that you can do. Also, you can add the layout. I wonder why we don't have the label. So let's work on that later since we don't have much time. Okay, so that's the first question we have answered. What's the next question that you want to tackle? Now, what about life satisfaction and time management? That's one other thing we are interested in. So let's go to life satisfaction and time management. Life satisfaction and time management. Let me share my Excel again. So I'm going to go back to clean the data, and I still selected the table. So I'm going to go to data and then summarize with pivot table and the same data set. I'm going to create that, and new worksheet has been created, and life satisfaction and time management. So time management, so it's a value. I'm going to drag it over to rows and life satisfaction. And I have to change that setting, double click, field setting, and change to average. And you have too many decimal places. So you can go to home and decrease the number of decimal place, and then you can visualize it. So let's now insert and chart, and let's go with the column. And this is time management on life satisfaction. Right? So you can say the impact of time management on life satisfaction. We see that 5s are doing much better than the others, right? So you want to know how many people have answered. So then you can go to life satisfaction and drag it again to the values. And then you can change it to right click and field settings and how many of them answered. So count of them. So 13 people answered 2, 12 people answered 3, and 22 people answered 4, and 7 people answered 5. So we know that 13 students were quite unhappy with their time management, not satisfied with it, and 12 students were neutral, and many of you, 22 of you, were satisfied with your time management. And then there were 7 students who were very satisfied with their time management. And we see that their life satisfaction is quite high. And I envy those 7 students because they are good at time management. I think it's really hard to manage their time. I have seen usually athletics, those who play sports or cross country, they are very good at time management. The kind of discipline it takes for us to manage our time well. And I am very happy if I spend my time well, or that's understandable. So let's name it again: life satisfaction and time management. What if I add gender here, right? So that's also interesting question. So I'm going to add gender to, oops. Oh, what did I do? So I added twice, and sum, I have to change it to average. And this was count instead of sum. I changed to count. And I'm adding gender to now legend. So I'm going to come here. So now your analysis become a little bit more complicated, right? So we have 0 and 1, right? Average life satisfaction and count life satisfaction. So somehow it's more complicated. So let me see if I can make it more meaningful. Let me go here. I think that's more, or let me go to time management. How about that? Oh, okay. I think this is better. So those among students who answered number 2. So in other words, I'm not satisfied with my time management. And there's 0 and 1, right? In other words, 1 is female students and 0 is male students. And we see that there are a lot more male students who are not managing their time very well, right? So that's what we see, right? And then here, 3. Surprisingly, those who said neutral time management, there is no female students there. All of them are male students. And number 4, we still have a lot of male students and female students. And then number 5, male students and female students. So still we have a lot of them. And especially male students, their satisfaction rate is higher when they make their time managed very well, right? So that their satisfaction is higher than female students. That's what we see. So we can see, do more complex analysis using this pivot table.